Hey, everybody. Welcome back if you're returning. Welcome if you're new here. Thank you so much for joining me today. We have had a really powerful week of cards, so let's see what we got for today. Chop wood. Mm, this is such a good one. And oddly enough, again, energetically, it's the perfect time for this card. Chop wood is about, we talked about how Saturn and self discipline. Chop wood is like get your shit done. Attend to the tasks at hand. Quit sitting on your laurels. Chop wood. And here in the Northern Hemisphere, it's coming into spring. We have the eclipse season, the equinox. So, this is really, truly an excellent time to be chopping wood, making preparations, getting shit done, clearing out. Spring is the time when we come out of the dead, ick, dormant part of winter, and we're supposed to be renewed and coming back into a fresh new season, and everything's blossoming and alive and vibrant. This is the time of heart. Well, actually, no, check that. This is the time of planting. We passed harvest, that was fall. This is the time of planting, and it takes effort to plant. And if we want to see the milk and honey that we talked about on Monday, the fruits of our labor, we have to labor first, right? Because if you don't plant a seed, you ain't gonna get a tree. Not gonna get anything. And this time of year, when everything is kind of coming back to life, and we start to feel that renewed sense of being alive again, it just depends on your climate. I know where I live, it gets so cold and nasty, and the leaves fall off all the trees. Everything just looks dead and ick and is muddy for months. And I live in one of the most depressing states in the country because it's cloudy almost, I would say, probably 50% of the year here anyway, but even more so in the winter. Plus, it's cold. It's just, ugh, ick, right? And you just want to curl up and ignore it, hibernate like a bear. Well, it's time to wake up. It's time to chop wood. Get your bare ass up and put some clothes on. Jesus. Sorry. We can tend to procrastinate when, like we talked about, there are difficult decisions to make. There is a hard task to accomplish. There is some blockage that we have got to handle to get to where we want to go. And it's that big, huge task that seems insurmountable, that we don't know how we're going to accomplish, that stops us. And there's no reason for it to stop us because we can break that down. Just like that, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time, right? When you're looking at that big task, we've talked about reverse engineering. It doesn't have to be just for life goals, like big, huge transitions. It can be for how am I going to clean out my closet? Oh, you know, my kitchen cabinets. Get my spring cleaning done. Break it down. And better yet, you can chop wood in small increments. You don't have to chop it all in one day. So if you have a big project that you want to do, like cleaning, pick a room. Monday, clean the closet in this room. Tuesday, wash the windows. Do your baseboards in that room. Wednesday, you see what I'm saying? Break it down into smaller pieces so that when you're looking at it, it's not this huge project. Make a list though. You have to make a list, because if we don't make a list, we can't hold ourselves to it. And then 6 weeks from now, we're going to look back and be like, oh yeah, I was going to clean that closet on Monday. That was 3 months ago. When we write things down, we're kind of making a contract with ourselves about what we are going to do. That's why I like to-do lists. Now, I overdo it, and you've got to give yourself grace because there's only so much wood you can chop. Sorry, it made me think of the woodchuck thing. There's only so much wood you can chop on any given day. And if you try to chop more wood than you have energy for, you're not only not going to finish what you had for that day, where now you feel like you didn't accomplish what you wanted to, you didn't achieve your goal, you're now in a state of feeling dissatisfied. Even though you did chop wood, you didn't chop as much as you thought you would. And instead of being like that, look at it as, wow, you know what? I planned on doing this, 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 and this, but I did such a kick ass job with this and this that I didn't have time for the other two. So we're going to roll those over, but damn, I did a good job on that. See? Give yourself grace, give yourself credit, and it's not going away. No one's going to break in and chop your wood for you. No need to fret about that. It's going to be there tomorrow. But we don't want to burn ourselves out at the same time. We have to keep a decent pace. Like when I was growing up, I used to chop wood with my dad. And when I was like 5, we didn't have a wood splitter. We used a maul and would go out, cut the trees down, and split them with the maul, and then carry them into the house. And this was like, we did this year round because my dad wanted to use the wood stove to heat the house. So from the time I was like 5 years old, because before that he wouldn't let me use the maul. From the time I was 5 years old, I chopped wood and carried wood. I mean, took the ashes out. That's what I did because I enjoyed working outside with my dad. And then when I was like 9 or 10, he went in with some guys that he worked with for like a community wood splitter. Man, okay, I gotta tell you, I had no idea life could be that good. You just pick it up and go, it's split. What? Streamline. There's only so much wood you can chop, but if you can streamline the process and find ways to be more efficient about it, you can chop a whole hell of a lot more wood with less energy. This was an eye-opening moment for me of like, wow, sometimes there is a better way to do things. And again, when we're looking at something that we need to accomplish, that we need to get past, that has to be done, that it's overwhelming, how can you make it easier? How can you make this huge overwhelming task easier? Because I gotta tell you, I found ways around all kinds of shit. That wood splitter just opened my brain to the possibility of I don't have to work this hard. I can do a whole lot more with a lot less energy if I find the right tool. And it doesn't have to just be physical labor. But when you're talking about planting seeds, if you're going to invest your energy in something, and let's say you're starting a business, well, your marketing. What is the most efficient, cost-effective form of marketing that you can use? How can you maximize that? Or you're going to plant a garden. What is the most efficient use of space? How can you multiply the amount of plants that you can plant? What can you do? Tiers? Can you fertilizing? What? Maximize the energy you invest in things by finding efficient ways to do it, and you'll chop a whole hell of a lot more wood. We didn't have to chop wood year round then. We'd get the log splitter like every 3 months and just go to town and split all that shit. We only touched the wood 4 times a year after that. That's insane. Or when we switched from the push plow in the garden, not even kidding. Like, this thing was an antique when I was using it. We had the single blade plow. We didn't have a horse to attach to it. And you pushed it through the dirt. My world opened up when my dad bought a rototiller. Sometimes we look at a situation and our first thought is, I've got to plow this by hand. This is going to take me forever. Until somebody comes by and sees you and goes, hey dipshit, why don't you get a rototiller? So don't get overwhelmed by the things that you wish to accomplish or need to take care of. If it's a lot and you're not sure how you're going to do it, get on Google. Find out if there's a tool for that, whether it be software, a rototiller, wood splitter, life-changing. When we figure out the most efficient way to do things, we progress so much more quickly. And that momentum keeps us going at a rapid, rapid pace. And we've talked about, especially like this week, difficult situations, having to handle uncomfortable things. The more you do it, the better you get at it. And your tool is your intuition, your connection with source, your ability to communicate effectively with people, to detach yourself as the observer, respond, not react out of emotion, respond from the observer position in making decisions that are best for all parties involved. And guess what? The more you do that, the better you get at it. You know what else happens? You realize that, damn, I could have done that a long time ago. Things would have been so much easier. So, this applies in all areas, not just chopping wood. Make it easier. Address the hard things. Get them out of the way. Get it handled. Because as long as it's in front of you and it's looming, that weighs you down. And as soon as you start to chip away at it, even if it's something a little bit at a time, it's still a relief. You are picking up that momentum little bit at a time, and the faster and faster and faster you get going, because you get better at it, and you find the right tools, it works out. So, if you got a shit ton of wood to chop, see if anybody's got a log splitter. I know, tangents. But anyway, I do hope this helps. And thank you so much for joining me today. I will talk to you soon.